I think there's going to be more scrutiny on the live performers because we're becoming so much better versed as to what a good performance is. You know, American Idol or all these different shows that we're seeing and all these clips that we're seeing a lot of information. And so when it comes to a live performance, audiences are going to be expecting more, and they're going to be expecting a higher quality experience. And so the skill level required for a live performer is going to be that much greater, whether it's a juggler or a comedian or a singer or a tight wire walker, whatever it might be.
Totally.
They need to, their game needs to be amplified and stepped up.
And I was like, no, can you tell me, you told me one of Mitch Hedberg's jokes, can you tell me a Dane Cook joke? And he said something like, I want to be a snake. And I was like, okay, then what? And he's like, that's pretty much it. Then he acts like a snake. I'm like, I don't know if this guy's for me. That was my initial introduction to Dane Cook. But then, I don't know if you know, these guys, the Walsh brothers, they are, stand-up comedian, storytelling duo. I'm still not a hugely physical comedian. So, I love watching people who are. Now, I'm like, be whoever you are, whatever you are. And I try to incorporate, I try to be myself, but as much of everything that I can be, using my body more, not just being a mouth and a brain. So Dave, this guy who was, not this physical comedy guy to me, he was the first person who was like, you should check out Dane Cook, see him live, because I hadn't seen it, I hadn't understood, I had prejudged, and then I saw him live in front of 1,000 people at Boston University, and he murdered, but I thought everything that he said was, everything was funny, and just he was so funny, from the first thing he did was he came out, and just, people were standing and cheering, and he was just like, yes! I've done nothing. Yeah. And just, he at the time, and I assume still, an amazing comedian.
Part of being a director of live theater is being a 10-year-old who gets bored really easily. Okay? I have to turn that guy on, and I got to turn off the person that thinks Shakespeare's important. So this is why, and you've said my work can be really cheesy. I have the naivete of a prepubescent boy as a director. I want to generate hope for the public. I'm the fool, not the knave. The knave is a teenager who wants to punch holes in the fairy tale. I want to create the fairy tale where you're in the middle of it and you go, this is cheesy, but I kind of like it. I'm going to allow myself to be optimistic in this moment because he's doing it different. I've had an artist say to me, Stefan, it's great working with you, but you're too cliche. And I said, thank you. Thank you so much, because for me to play to large audiences, I must be cliche. But the way I do cliche has to be current.
Knowing where your audience is, knowing who they are, caring about the things that they care about, and touching them, it's really important. A lot of really rich people who produce stuff have filed bankruptcy because you sometimes go, I think the world is going to love this, and the world goes, not so much.
One time a kid asked me, I was doing the tennis racket trick, and I said, make up a trick, anything you want me to do. And he goes, and this is an 8-year-old at a kid's show, he goes, can you eat your wiener while you're doing that trick? Awesome. No one will ever hear that again. An 8-year-old telling me to, eat my wiener. And he didn't mean going down to Wiener Schnitzel and having a hot dog. He meant actually satisfying myself. An 8-year-old said that. Awesome 8-year-old. And then I just move on. I would do that in my night show, though, if I was asked. I as much as
$400.
I have to make at least $400. I'm not going to do it for a $25 guest set.
My favorite concert that I've ever been to, my favorite show, was Dan Deacon. He's an electronic musician, and he's this pudgy, balding, hipster dude from Maryland, and he creates this crazy electronic music, but his show is him on the floor with everybody else surrounding him, with like a folding like a fold out card table with all of his equipment on top of it, and there's just like wires everywhere, and it's all shit that he found in a dumpster, you know, like these sine wave generators from like a hospital, and like weird Casio keyboards and toys and shit, and it's all like covered in duct tape, and he duct tapes his glasses onto his head, and he's so weird looking. And while he's playing music and like singing into like 3 different microphones that make his voice sound different, he's also flicking light switches because he's got light bulbs, like different color light bulbs in his station. So not only is he playing music, but he's also concentrating on doing like a really shitty light show. And everyone's surrounding him, and everybody's dancing, and everybody is covered in sweat, and nobody cares how dumb you look because he looks so dumb. You can dance however you want, and it's hilarious and fun, and then like he'll tell people to do stuff, so he'll like make the audience like stand in a circle and hold hands and repeat after him and like chant things, and then it's just weird.
Look at something as iconic in our society as Kermit the Frog. It's just a sock puppet with 2 eyes, and that's all there is to it. We fill in everything else. Our brain fills in every aspect of who Kermit is and what he is, and we imbue that and we put that on his character. If you think about shadow puppetry, which is an art that is thousands of years old, you just see black and white, just a shadowed image, but you're telling a story and your mind fills in the details.
You want to somehow be relatable so that people can identify. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, I get it. Right. It's like, I felt that awkward, or I've experienced that, which might come from the words that the person is saying or their movements. But if they're identifiable, because we're very tribal people. Still, it's like you go to a club somewhere and you see it. It's like you go to one club and you'll see guys in short pants and girls in shorter dresses, or you'll go to an underground party and you'll see different kinds of clothing and headdresses and jewelry. It's like we want to identify with our group, our tribe.
I've tried being both a villain and a hero, but I don't know what advice to give you. I just know whenever I perform, I just try to do something that I would like to watch. I just try to imagine the TV show that I want to watch, and I just do it. And luckily, someone's going to laugh. I don't know.